Friday nights at 9 p.m., it's time to sit back, relax, and play Conspiracy Bingo with Echoplex Media. We've curated the best conspiracy theorists the internet has to offer and turned it into a live bingo game you can play for free with absolutely no prizes but bragging rights. You won't find a live stream like this anywhere else, and that's probably better for everyone else's mental health. Tune in every Friday at 9 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/EchoplexMedia and find our full schedule at echoplexmedia.com.
When they actually spend their time listening to this show, what does it mean? It means we're winning.
Everybody, welcome to Downballot. We do the show live every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/EchoplexMedia. If you're listening to the pod and you don't know what that is, just go over there and make an account and then give us some money there. Twitch.tv/EchoplexMedia. You can also support us at patreon.com/Echoplex. You can get the entire recording from tonight's broadcast, including Local Love and any post game that might happen after. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Grindr.
And with you as always, the councilman. How you doing, producer Dave?
Can you turn up the gain on your mobile?
I can. I could also talk more directly into it. Is that helping?
Can you turn up the gain on, like, it should be at like 3 o'clock?
Is that better?
Something's going on here.
Okay.
Something's going on here.
Okay.
Let me see if maybe it's me.
Okay.
Okay, talk some more.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, something's going on here. Okay. Tap on the mic for me real quick. Just tap on the mic. Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Okay. I mean, you're a little muffled, but I think we can live with it.
Okay. Well, if you want to move on into leading off, I can check and see if I've got my audio set up correctly.
I can't. Yeah, you're incredibly muffled. I'm not sure what's happening here. Am I muffled on your end or?
No, you're fine. I got you fine.
Okay. Well, people in the chat say they can hear you, so that's fine. We'll just tough it out.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. So, who are you and what's going on?
Not much. This is the councilman coming at you live from somewhere in West San Jose. Somewhat awake. Had a pretty frustrating afternoon, so hoping the down ballot will be able to cauterize the wound a little bit. Yeah, misplaced something very important and still haven't found it. And anyone who does that knows how that feeling is. It's like that just churning in your gut that you cannot expunge until you either find the thing or find out that it's gone forever. So really hoping it's not gone forever, but feeling like it is. It's not feeling very good right now.
Oh yeah, I don't like losing stuff at all.
Yeah, not cool.
Where can people find you?
I suppose you can find me on Twitter at @THE_councilman, the councilman. I haven't really been on there a whole lot at all, and I'm struggling to be on any kind of social media or any sort of outlet really at all right now, with Bad Baby taking up a lot of the time for me and the Good Wife. You'll find me here at 7:30 every Tuesday night, hopefully Pacific. And then you can find me obviously in the podcast. I hope you keep downloading it and sharing it with your friends. And you'll find me probably hanging around City Hall occasionally, lurking in the public comment, and trying not to get a restraining order against me.
Well, oh crap! This is the wrong docket. I should probably pull up the right docket. There we go.
It's okay. We're getting started on the right foot tonight.
Yeah, everything's going perfect.
We'll fix it all in a post-production, right?
No, no, absolutely not.
Oh, crap. I forgot we're live.
Yeah, this is live. Anyway, this was also the wrong thing to pull up. I pulled up the docket for the plaques.
Hey, that would actually be pretty fun. We could do a Freaky Friday or a Freaky Tuesday, Taco Tuesday.
Anyway, here we go. We're going to lead off with Bay Area freeways. They're quite dangerous. So
that's what I've heard.
That's what the news was saying.
For sure, and they're always right.
Welcome back to NBC Bay Area News Tonight. There are plenty of studies and top 10 lists that we talk about, but this one caught our eye. It's about traffic safety on our freeways. This is not a list you want to be on. The 10 deadliest roads in California. 2 Bay Area freeways are in the top 3. The website called Money Geek analyzed car crash data between 2017 and 2019. Here we go. Take a look. Number 2 on this list, Interstate 80 in Alameda County. This is a stretch that a lot of us have been on right after the Bay Bridge, MacArthur Maze, Oakland through Berkeley. Alameda County, 15 fatal accidents. It's a 5-mile stretch. Number 3 on this list, Interstate 80 in Contra Costa County. So just up the road past Richmond into El Sobrante. 13 fatal accidents. That's also a 5-mile stretch. Number 8 on the list. We're going to the Silicon Valley now. 280 in San Jose. This is right near downtown San Jose. Here's the 280, 880 interchange. But if you go just east into downtown San Jose, 11 deadly accidents. It's a 4-mile stretch. The deadliest stretch of road, though, in the state of California, Interstate 15. You probably might have never even heard of it, in a town called Hesperia. This is 35 miles north of
San Bernardino. Is like
19 fatalities in a 4.5-mile stretch.
San Bernardino.
If something bad is happening and they say it's happening in San Bernardino,
to drunk driving,
I believe
speeding
them.
contributed to 28%. One more note: November had the most fatal accidents.
Yeah, if somebody says something bad is coming out of San Bernardino, I believe them.
Probably true, right? Well, that's it. That's very interesting. I'm glad to know that Bay Area exceptionalism wins out, and especially South Bay exceptionalism. We got on the list. San Jose made the map. That's cool. We're getting there. We're reaching big city status every day, producer Dave.
Oh man, that is like a shitty section of the freeway too, though. There, right, going through downtown. Yeah,
I mean, between like just uneven asphalt and then people crossing over each other to merge. There's a lot of weird merges there, a lot of weird exits, right? Multi-street exits, so people like to get all confused when they fucking go over. They try to merge over and get off, and the 87's right there. So it all just conflates to create a lot of madness. And on the other side, going north, it's just as bad with people merging in from 87 and Bird around Southwest Expressway. It's just a death trap. It really is. No one's paying any attention to what they're doing.
And people's houses get hit sometimes in that area.
Apparently, yes. Right at the end of that stretch, right? If you survived the stretch without getting into a car wreck, you're going to more than likely run into a house.
The guy whose house it is has a good sense of humor about it, kind of. So,
right, very much so. It seems like it, right? You think he'd doll up his bollards with some sort of design or some sort of public art, maybe. I don't know, statues, who knows, or carved sculptures.
Should just put a big sign on there that says "Don't hit my house," and it's like a big neon sign. That wouldn't be more distracting or anything. That wouldn't make the situation worse.
No, probably not. Or like a airport guiding lines, right? And maybe some semaphores. Come this way. Or go that way. Maybe that would distract people. I don't know. Well, anyway, if you're driving on that stretch of 280, watch yourself, check yourself before you wreck yourself, and really get out of your car anyway. Take public transit. I mean, the BART may derail occasionally, but for the most part, you're not going to run into anything else. You're more than likely not going to die on the way to where you're going.
That's true. That's true. So we're going to move on into winners and losers. And the thing about winners and losers is that there are no winners. And if somebody does win, you hate them. That's pretty much
the case, yeah. So where are we starting off today? Looks like a big event coming back to San Francisco.
Incorrect.
Incorrect.
Wait a minute. Wait.
It's the lead-in. Oh, it's the lead-in. I see what they always do. It's like that with the little lead-in chyron, and then they actually.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, I remember now. Van versus CVS.
Yeah, this is the Van versus CVS. I was like, were my show notes wrong? I was like, no, my show notes are wrong. It is the kids who are wrong. The
struggle is real.
They are out of touch. It is not me. Anyway, this is a Van versus CVS pharmacy, and apparently the Van won round one of car versus building this week.
New overnight shows the impact right here. This is this new video. It's showing the impact of that van that plowed into an Oakland CVS. It happened a little before 2 a.m. on Broadway near 30th Street. That store was closed at the time, and we did reach out to Oakland police to find out what led up to the chase or if anyone was injured. Well, so far, we're still waiting for an answer to that. We're also waiting to see if that store will open as scheduled for 7 o'clock.
We're waiting to see if the store will open.
Yeah, I don't know if they have front doors at this point. It looked like the van pretty much took those out, so kudos to the van. And you saw it ended up plowed into looked like a lottery vending machine of some sort, or some sort of vending machine. So kudos to them. They did a great job just taking out the entrance completely at CVS. There's no way they're opening at 7 a.m.
I mean, unless the doors just make it so it's impossible for them to close.
True. I mean, there's just no doors, right? So they have to board it up, but still, yeah. How are you gonna let people in? So who knows? Maybe the window people can come out late at night and fix her up. Maybe CVS has a line on some contractors that they. But these days, I don't know if you've done any contracting work or any sort of home improvement work out there, listener or viewer, or producer Dave over at your new palatial studio. Paid labor is hard to come by these days. In terms of, and it takes a while even just to get on the schedule, even if you have the money to pay them. And it's expensive too. So yeah, they're in for a hefty price tag. Hopefully the van people pay for it.
So whether they like it or not, that CVS remains open.
Very much so. As tragic as that might be for the community. But I guess this was a big week for cars crashing into retail establliments. When I originally saw the post that you had shared on the docket, I thought of this because the Good Wife and I had seen this story on the news the other night. I was not aware of the CVS versus van. So this is car versus, or it looks like Toyota Camry versus Trader Joe's.
We're going to begin with breaking news in Castro Valley. A car crashes into a Trader Joe's grocery store, injuring up to 6 people. We saw ambulances taking away several people from the scene. The car went all the way into the store. The driver still at the scene, and it's unknown at this time why the driver drove into the store. We have a picture that the Alameda County Sheriff's Office
You really need that kombucha.
of the car inside the store. You can see it's a gray Honda sedan. Authorities say there is no danger to the
No, it's not. It's a Toyota.
People to stay away from the scene as they help victims and investigate what happened. About 30 minutes ago, the car was removed from the store. If you look at the front doors, you could see part of the Toyota there. The CHP says it drove past the cash registers.
But they still had a door.
NBC Bay Area Cheryl Hurd has just arrived at the store in Castro Valley.
CVS had 0 doors.
This is great. They actually have a person on the scene at this one. It's not just like a wide shot of it.
Heard.
Well, we just got there, and you said it, that car that was inside the store, well, it's right here in front. Authorities backed it out.
And it is clearly a Toyota.
You can see the huge glass, that window that car went through. As you said, 6 people injured, and this is what we know so far. A car drove through the front of the Trader Joe's in Castro Valley. It ended up near the checkout area.
He didn't even get past the checkout, so I call this one a draw.
On the scene. Take a look at these pictures. You can see the car made it pretty far into the store. Now the driver is cooperating with authorities, remained at the scene. We don't know how badly injured the folks taken away are. I talked to someone who was inside the store, and she says that it's a miracle that no one was seriously injured because the store was pretty crowded at the time. Now I talked with the source, and the source tells me that they believe that the driver may have gotten a little confused and mixed the brake with the accelerator. That has not been confirmed. We were about to talk with the CHP about this, but that's what a source is telling us right now.
A source.
Still on the scene.
A source.
Emergency personnel.
Anonymous.
Still on scene, and we'll have an update with more information coming back to you at 6 o'clock. Reporting live in Castro Valley, I'm Cheryl Hurd. Back to you.
Okay, Cheryl, thank you.
So what they were saying at the end, the source or whatever, that Toyota Avalon, its demographic is people of a certain age.
Yes.
So that what they told the news person was probably like, that was an old lady or an old man. And the news person was like, oh, they probably got confused, right? So there was no source. Nobody has the inside fucking scoop on what the fuck happened in the car before the person ran into the Trader Joe's. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. Some employee of the Trader Joe's has a very creative, imagination, right? A very overactive imagination. Yeah. Inside sources tell me this is what happened. Yeah. Who knows? But it more than likely foot slippage, hit the wrong pedal. Happens quite a bit. But yeah, I would call this one a draw. They didn't really get very far into the establishment. They only took out the entrance. You could see the exit doors were still very much intact. So they more likely will be able to open at 7 a.m. Trader Joe's. So I would say car did some damage, but probably a draw.
And there's no lotto machine or whatever in the Trader Joe's to take out either. So it makes it it's a more difficult target to get points.
Although, and there's also the issue of the 6 injured people. If the CVS had been hit, in the middle of the day, I imagine there would have been a lot more injuries because that was pretty substantial damage. So I can only imagine that there were more injuries at Trader Joe's because it happened during the day.
Well, there was the CVS was closed. So yes,
right. It was middle of the night. Yeah. So there you go. So tragedy on that end. So sorry to the folks who were injured at Trader Joe's. All the more reason not to give the Avalon person more credit.
So up next we got these are supposedly
vitamins,
fentanyl pills. This story is going to be done so poorly. Fentanyl's not candy, kids. This story is going to be done really poorly. I just guarantee it. They're probably going to even include some shit about the moral panic around your Halloween candy in this fucking thing because we're getting to be about that.
Just say no. Just say no.
They may look like candy and even our childhood vitamins, but experts say just one of these pills can kill you. They're known as rainbow fentanyl, and they're spreading throughout the nation and across the Bay Area. The latest find in Hayward.
Some of the pills had Hello Kitty or skeleton type designs to it.
Those are supposed to be ecstasy pills, but good on you for getting that shit off the street.
And several other narcotics and contraband found by Hayward police during a traffic stop just weeks ago. Fines, they say, have increased in the past month.
Very small doses of fentanyl can be fatal. And that's what's so scary about these pills, especially given the fact they look like candy. Even young kids could see these and think that it's something that's safe, and it's really very dangerous.
The DEA has been warning the public since late August, asking parents to speak with their children after seizing brightly colored fentanyl and fentanyl pills in 18 states. They believe it's a deliberate effort by drug traffickers to drive addiction among kids and young adults.
Oh, my heart sank seeing the Hayward Police Department's post.
Michelle Leopold lost her 18-year-old son to fentanyl in 2020. She says Trevor was a freshman at Sonoma State and died in his sleep after taking one pill. Since then, she's been informing and helping others impacted by drugs.
Even more reason now that these rainbow fentanyl pills are out there, and then today's horrific discovery of the Hello Kitty and grenade and pirate. That's just atrocious, and it's absolutely horrifying to think that they are actively going after younger kids.
The nonprofit Families Against Fentanyl say in the last 2 years, fentanyl fatalities have increased nearly 5-fold in 6 states, including California. Just last year, the Golden State registered more than 5,000 fentanyl deaths.
We have to do more about educating, especially the young adults, and also getting Narcan out there everywhere, because you never know when you might be able to save a life.
Stephanie Magallon, NBC Bay Area News.
So I'm skeptical that these were supposed to be fentanyl pills. I think what they found were ecstasy pills. And I think that they came up positive for having fentanyl in them. So I think it's good probably that they're no longer available. But I don't think that these were marketed to kids. Like, you think of a little pill with a Hello Kitty on it. You know what the fuck that is.
Well, yeah, you and I definitely do. One would hope that they're not marketed to kids, right? And you and I, from experience, know that there's a lot of fun in the drug trading and paraphernalia industry, right? Who hasn't done, a sheet of acid with, Winnie the Pooh on it or something, right? It's sort of standard practice. It's goofy. And so you see a lot of this kind of thing. And yes, we definitely know. Kids don't. I would tend to agree. I don't know that this is designed deliberately to indoctrinate kids and get kids addicted. But then again, it wouldn't surprise me either. You see more of this from like the for-profit, tobacco industry, I suppose. But I could certainly see that being the case. But in this particular regard, I think it could just be some really fancy colored, fun colored drugs. And the news is making and the police are making a big conflagration out of it.
No, I'm telling you, it was just fucking e-pills that had fucking fentanyl in them, and good that they're off the fucking market. But these aren't like some being marketed to like some 7-year-old because they're colors and have a fucking cartoon on them. Get the fuck out of here. Every goddamn ecstasy pill ever has been a color and had a cartoon on it.
They've got grenades for the boys and My First Pony for the girls.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The grenade pills, those are even just ecstasy pills. I mean, they're just the grenades. They're the green grenades. Don't take the green grenades. They're bad. Like,
right.
I'm just telling you that I don't think that this is like the news does such a bad job of covering this stuff because they don't have anyone on staff who understands. But cops are happy to play it up too. The cops know exactly what those were. Cops have to have known that those were to be marketed at like parties as ecstasy pills.
Oh yeah, but you've got you've got to put the PIO out there to do the spiel, justify their existence, right? Justify the money we keep giving them to do their jobs. So absolutely.
All right, so up
next,
next,
they know that we know.
Up next, we got a story we've been covering out of Shasta County, California. A woman named Sherry Papini. She said that she was abducted, but it turned out she was just cheating. Just cheating. Done wasted hell of people's time. There was like a fucking woman hunt and fucking just wasted hell of money. And she got sentenced to 18 months in prison for like wasting everybody's time up in Shasta County. I got to tell you something. You got to do a lot of shit to waste people's time up there because there's a big waste. That whole place has been a big waste of time. So she done pissed everybody off. Here's a story from NBC Bay Area.
Go for it.
We do have breaking news. The Northern California woman who faked her own abduction was just sentenced to 18 months in prison. Sherry Papini has to turn herself in by November 8th. Papini disappeared in 2016, only to reappear several days later. The FBI says she had been staying with a former boyfriend in Southern California, gave herself injuries to appear as if she was kidnapped. Under the conditions, she must serve 3 years probation and pay more than $300,000 in restitution.
Yep.
Just strange. And how do you gotta feel about being her current boyfriend at the time? Like, she had to go through this elaborate ruse to get away from you and to go to her ex.
It's amazing. It's amazing. There's we kind of covered it a little bit, and I remember a little of the story. My understanding was that for a minute he wanted really bad for the story to be true, and then he realized it wasn't true. And I just know that to fake your own kidnapping and then get busted for it is very difficult. You know what I'm saying? How do you fake your own kidnapping and then get busted for it? She must be the worst kidnapping faker in the world, but all she was doing was cheating.
Right, she couldn't resist going to Starbucks and using her credit card or her Starbucks account to get that free whip on the latte.
Well, she showed back up a few days later, as the news had said, with fake injuries and stuff. So she the local authorities did this whole investigation into this whole fucking story she had made up about being kidnapped. And I don't know, the story didn't make a whole lot of sense, and they figured it out pretty quick because the story didn't make a whole lot of fucking sense.
No, absolutely. If you're gonna go through a ruse, man, go through a ruse. Go for it. Lean in. Get a story. Get a backstory. Get an alibi. Back up your friends' stories. Make sure you do the full Monty, right? Do the whole thing, whole 9 yards, and go for it. Don't leave any sort of hanging chads. Because even a shoe gum detective is going to figure this shit out. So yeah, put a little more effort into it, I would say. Don't get caught doing crime. If
you're going to do a ruse and you're not smart enough to do an elaborate ruse, do a simple ruse.
There you go. Yeah. Let's take it back to basics, right? Just, I'm going to visit my cousin in Vegas, right? We're going to have a weekend. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Don't ask me about what happened. And then go see your ex. It's very simple.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of... Actually, the story is just going to go away because she got sentenced to jail. I was going to say there's going to be more interesting stuff coming out about it, but nah. I think it's just going to become like a legend up there, and that'll be pretty much the end.
Another one, right? We added to the legend list from Shasta County.
So up next is a story that it could be good, but I get real I get some bad vibes off the next story.
Yeah, I don't think there's much good happening here, but we can find out.
In the South Bay today, Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill into law launching his care court system. The controversial proposal aims to overhaul the state's mental health care system.
And the court order treatment program is part of the governor's plan to address homelessness. KTVU political reporter Greg Lee was with the governor in San Jose and has more on what's next.
There's a lot to be thankful for and a lot to smile about today. Congratulations, everybody.
Flanked by behavioral health providers, and
there was nothing written on that piece of paper.
Gavin Newsom signed his care court legislation into law in San Jose. CARE stands for Community Assistance, Recovery, and Empowerment. Newsom introduced the proposal to help address the state's homelessness crisis in March. It flew through the Senate and Assembly.
Continue to do what you've done, you'll get what you got. And look what we've got. It's unacceptable. So we have the power to turn this around.
The new program allows court-ordered treatment for people suffering from severe mental illness or addiction. The state estimates 7,000 to 12,000 Californians qualify. Family members, first responders, or medical professionals can petition a judge to order an evaluation. If approved, a county would be mandated to create a treatment plan, which can include medication, services, and housing. The individual will be required to stick with the plan for up to 2 years.
Somebody's son. Somebody's daughter, somebody's brother, sister. It's their loved one. And today, we get to have the opportunity to turn to those families and say, there's hope.
Civil rights groups have long opposed Care Court and plan to sue. Disability Rights California released a statement that says Care Court expands an already problematic system into a framework of coerced, court-ordered mental health treatment that goes back to the country's horrific history of ableism and subjecting disabled people to being a separate class.
Their point of view has been well advanced for a half century in the state of California. Their point of view is expressed by what you see on the streets and sidewalks all throughout this state.
Under the timeline negotiated in the legislature, Care Courts would launch in 7 pilot counties by October 2023, including San Francisco. The other 51 counties would follow by December 2024. The state allocated $65 million to launch Care Court in the judicial system. Newsom also pointing to billions of dollars earmarked for homelessness and behavioral health. Local leaders say the real work is ahead.
All of us as mayors stand united in saying we want to be part of the solution and helping to implement. This is going to be hard, but it's critically important, and we have much, much work to do.
They need help, they need intervention, and sometimes that's tough. And this is I think, balanced approach.
In San Jose, Greg Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
So this could go a couple different ways. It's going to be the devil's going to be in the details. And I don't know enough about like the law and how it's written and what options are available. But forced treatment has a pretty nasty history worldwide.
Absolutely, it's problematic to say the least. Right? Any kind of forced treatment, especially for those with mental illness and other concerns, and disabilities. So, yeah, I'm not very confident that this is going to play out well, and that it's not going to ensnare a bunch of folks who don't and should not be subject to it. Subject to this kind of it's almost like harassment.
You know who's going to have a field day with this?
ACLU?
The fucking cult of Scientology.
Oh.
Like they're going to have a fucking field day with this. They're going to be like, the state of California is forcing people into psychiatric care. I already fucking see the video. I hear the ominous music. It's going to be like just another one of the examples that they cite in one of their fucking anti-mental health propaganda videos.
Sure. It'll be easy pickings though, honestly, because it is what they're doing, and we're doing it here in the county of Santa Clara as well. There's an AOT program right here, right now. So it's happening. Allegedly, we haven't seen a ton of it happening, but this kind of policy is being implemented here. But yet to be seen if it's effective or not.
I just don't.
But I tend to think it's really problematic.
I just don't understand where are the psychiatric facilities like that? Are they going to magically appear? Like this, there's a whole infrastructure that happens if you're going to do this and do it right and do this in a way that helps people, and that infrastructure don't fucking exist.
Ding, ding, ding. That was the number one point of contention and conversation when the Board of Supervisors in Santa Clara County brought this up and decided to implement the policy. It's the same conversation that was had at the City Council in San Jose when they thought about implementing this policy. Yeah, you're right. Even if you do agree that it's a good policy to have, we don't have the infrastructure to support it, and we certainly aren't committing the resources to build the infrastructure at this point to support it. And that's not part of this. I guess the $65 million might be part of a solution there, but that sounds like it's mostly directed to the courts system to pay, lawyers and judges and clerks and other folks to process all this crap and all the legal paperwork, but not to actually help the folks that it's this is designed to assist theoretically.
So this is going to either end up like one of two ways. Like people are going to end up on like a version of probation where we're going to give them housing. Oh no, you're not going to do that.
Oh no! This is absolutely, that's another thing. This is not at all about supportive wraparound services after the fact. This is about forcing someone into pretty much, in some cases, like a 72-hour hold, right? And then they're released back into the world, and may not be anywhere near where they need to be, who they need to be around, may not have the resources, the capability to do anything to help themselves in the longer term, and they're not exactly pointed in the right direction, right? They might get like a printout list of resources from the county. Who knows? But they're certainly not getting the kind of wraparound services that they need once they get, once the system recognizes them for who they are, someone in need, right? That should be what happens, is that these public services are there to help people who need it. But you can't reach them if, we're just sort of moving them around a chessboard.
So every time this kind of stuff comes up, I say this, and I can't stress enough that if you unhomeless someone and they have anxiety that is crippling because they're homeless, you have killed two birds with one stone, or you have at least made the anxiety treatable. You cannot solve the mental health problems of the people on the street by sending them to a fucking class and leaving them on the street.
Yeah, that's correct. That's why the advocates for them almost across the board say housing first. It's just the number one thing. You put a roof over someone's head, you give them shelter, and everything starts to and moves toward falling into place. It's not as though it's a perfect process, but it puts them on the path. It gives them the space, the health to move forward in all the other aspects of their life.
Well, then, and if you do housing, you give the people in the stressed, mental health facilities, the stressed mental health departments, the stressed mental health apparatus of our society, the opportunity to actually do some fucking triage and figure out what the fuck's going on.
Yes.
So they can divert their resources where they're most needed and most effective.
Sounds like a plan to me.
But no, we're gonna put a psychiatric hold on you, and then what? And then we're gonna make you go to a class. Then you're gonna show up this class. They go, hey, why are you feeling this way? And they go, well, I sleep under an overhang. And then the mental health professional is gonna go, that does sound like it would cause some stress and maybe some behavior issues. Right. It sounds like you are, in fact, suffering from acute anxiety.
I'd be shocked if they didn't have anxiety, PTSD, right? If you're living on the street for any, or just unhoused for any prolonged period of time, even if you're just couch surfing, right? Even if you don't have your own home, you don't have a place to go, right? You don't have a family or anything, anywhere to go. You're just sort of night to night. You have no idea where you're going to land. You might land somewhere, but you have no idea, right? That alone causes so much stress, right?
Right. Couch surfing is only cool if you have a bunch of rich friends.
Right. And then, of course, you're criminalized and
Elon Musk. Elon Musk was couch surfing for a long time, and it was cool he was like, oh, it's couch surfing, and I'm like, yeah, in Peter Thiel's guest house, but yeah, being insecure like that and just having regular ass friends, even if your friends are maybe middle class, working class, all of them are stable. You're eventually you can't just be sleeping on everybody's couch forever, and so yeah, again, I just can't. Why are they putting up a regime of enforcement before they're putting up a regime of support? It seems backwards.
You hit the nail on the head, though. It's about enforcement. It's about public safety. It's about the pretty white people living in their pretty white homes in Almaden, in Blossom Valley, and and West Side, and West Valley, and Saratoga. It's about those folks feeling safe, right, and feeling secure. And so, as soon as Bambi or whatever her name was got killed, sadly, sorry, tragic, rest in peace. But as soon as Bambi got herself killed down in Almaden, it just set off this powder keg of white fragility of people because she was killed by someone who was on parole or who had been paroled, right, who had been in the system previously and was released, right, and committed the crime. And then Heather Steinley or whatever her name was up in San Francisco, right? These things conspired to build this movement towards, these people, we can't just keep releasing these criminals. So let's try to keep them in jail. Let's try to keep them incarcerated. Let's try to keep them locked away somewhere. And it sort of spread into this realm of folks with legitimate issues who are now being criminalized in advance, basically, or they're being forced
that's the
into
problem
situations.
Here. That's the problem here is these people are being criminalized before they commit a fucking crime. It sounds like the potential is there. Some fucking Minority Report shit here.
Possibly, yeah. And then it's also really worth noting, if we're just on the subject of housing in general and homelessness, that the folks who have a home are more likely to commit a crime than folks who do not. Actually, it's studies show that the unhoused actually commit crime at a lower clip than folks who are housed.
Is that
just
property
FYI.
crime and violent crime, or is it just violent crime? It sounds like it's just a violent crime statistic to me, but that's the only crime I'm worried about.
That's a fabulous question. I don't know the answer to that, but at the end of the day, crimes. But yes, no, that's a good question. We'll have to find out. I do know that there's a lot of hand wringing locally and elsewhere in more heavily white communities about the rise in, and some mayoral candidates are trying to take advantage of this, the rise in crime. Crime rates are actually down year over year, decade over decade. They are down, right?
Peaked in the mid-90s, yeah.
Correct. There are fluctuations, of course, right? 1 year there's a spike for whatever reason in murders, death, kills, whatever, like rapes. I don't know. But for the most part, and they're still on decline. They are still in decline year over year. Just like housing prices are going to go up. You might have a month where shit happens, the market takes a little hit, things go down. But really, on the whole, if you keep your house for 20 years, you're going to have a lot more valuable house at the end of the day. Same goes for the crimes. They're going down no matter what. So when you hear politicians try to tell you that, talk about rising crime rates and we need to do more to, keep criminals off the streets, it lead to policies like this, right? Be a little skeptical, ask the right questions, ask the tough questions, and ask them, show me the data, show me the numbers, and show me why your plan is going to actually fix this.
They show you a graph of 8 months. You go, hey, could you back that graph out a little bit for me?
Right. The ones that start like at 500, right? Like the baseline on the y-axis is 500, right? It's like 0, 500, and then it goes 500, 501, 502, right?
Could you back the graph out for me, please? Can we get a different graph?
I'm absolute just maven for that, pet peever for that. I always check the X and Y axis and see what kind of scale they're using before I give any sort of graph any sort of mind or validity, because a lot of the time people are just fudging. That's the easiest thing to fudge is the visual.
The only chart you shouldn't be, the only chart you should never be skeptical of, the one is the pie chart that says pie I have eaten, pie I have not eaten, because you can actually check that with a physical pie.
That's true, and in my case, it will always be just a big circle of pie eaten.
Pie I have eaten,
because I fucking love pie. I mean, I don't care what it is. It could be something where I don't like the thing that's in the pie in any other context, right? And yet I fucking love it in pie. Who knows?
All right, so who needs to get their shit together this week?
It's Evergreen School District, and good news is I have some friends running for school board there, so hopefully they can turn things around. We'll talk about that when we do ballot box bingo for November. But it looks like they had plans to close a school, elementary school, and now, lo and behold, since the community got inflamed and pissed off, they've somehow found the money. They moved some numbers around in the accounting books and said, "Oh, look, we have the money. We can keep the school open." But we'll see how realistic it is here.
Across the state have announced plans to shutter schools due to budget issues or declining enrollment. But tonight we're learning a South Bay school that had been on track to close is getting a new lease on life. NBC Bay Area's Damien Trujillo spent his day at an elementary school celebrating the news their doors are staying open.
It was back to school night here at OB Whaley yesterday, and I'm hearing that when the parents were told that the campus would remain open, the entire place erupted in cheers. The children are always excited to see their friends at school, but for the parents at OB Whaley Elementary, the last few months have been rough after learning their school would shut down because of declining enrollment.
I have been so stressed out. Just wondering, gosh, what am I going to do next? Where am I going to take my kids?
The next closest school is over a mile away, and the children would have had to cross two major thoroughfares to get there. Then came Dr. Antoine Hawkins, the newly hired superintendent of the Evergreen District.
You saved OB Whaley. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel excited.
Dr. Hawkins took a closer look at the school's decline in enrollment. Only 250 students at a school that once had 400, and he found a way to keep it open. The plan, repurpose the school, bring in a magnet program, and partner with the city and community agencies to raise revenue by bringing in much needed resources like after school care, mental health services, and other programs. With the new plan and increased state funding, Dr. Hawkins redid the math, and it added up. to great news.
We were able to look at our budget in a measurable way and see how we could sustain the school in its current form.
It means the children and their parents can keep their school.
I was so happy. My heart dropped. I texted everybody. I'm like, the school's open.
Not every school will be saved. Laurelwood Elementary in the same Evergreen district is closed. So is Chavez Elementary in Alum Rock, where the district now leases a property to Cadango for early childhood education programs. But there is one change. Districts say they won't be selling the properties that close because they now feel enrollment will one day bounce back.
We too don't want to sell property because we're looking at some type of growth, hopefully, in the future.
For now, at O.B. Whaley, it's time to celebrate. The math adds up, meaning their nightmare is over. Damian Trujillo, NBC Bay Area News.
Thanks, Damian. Well, a beautiful.
So you had said that the parents had kind of thrown a fit. I guess they didn't, well, not thrown a fit, but like were active or whatever. I guess they didn't really bring that up much in the story. They wanted to like let the one like city council person, or was it I think it was a city council person. They wanted to let him say like 2 or 3 words and then cut away from him, which is what I noticed they were doing a lot of in that clip.
Yeah, no, they had a parent speaking for like all parents, and then they referenced like the community meetings, whatnot. It's just really really specious kind of reasoning from the brand new superintendent. Lo and behold, comes in right, has sort of a mess on his hands from budget cuts that are really beyond anyone's control anyway, and miraculously finds some sort of way to move some numbers around in the books to make this school more viable. I don't see how. I didn't hear anything in there about what was tangibly done to change anything other than just moving numbers around. So we'll see how it goes. But that's a slippery slope. When you start, you have to be realistic at some point. And unfortunately, parents have to be that way too, because we are where we are, and hopefully that will cause more parents who support charter schools and or have the resources to send their kids to private schools. Maybe it will make them think twice and try to invest a little more in our traditional public school system. We shall see. But I did like the note of parents don't know what they're going to do to get their kids to school, and then there's a B-roll shot of a bus.
Right.
It's
well,
like,
there's school buses. Parents.
A fucking bus. Yeah, I took the bus my entire junior high career. I went to elementary school a block from where I grew up. Great. I could walk every day with my friends to school. And then lo and behold, 6th grade came around and I wanted to go to a magnet school. So I got on the damn bus every day and took the bus there and back, the school bus, the yellow bus. It was fun. You got to hang out with your friends and listen to music. And if the driver was cool at the time, you didn't have your little iPods at the time. You didn't have your little, not iPods, shit. iPods don't even exist anymore. You didn't have your iPhones. You didn't have your little smarty phones, your little MP3 players. You just had the benevolence of the bus driver putting on the right tunes. So kudos to the bus drivers of the world. But yeah, that's what you do. If your school closes, oh God, it's a whole mile and whatever to the nearest school. They're going to get on a bus and ride a bus for like 10 minutes. I'm so sorry. But it'll give them character, trust me.
All right, let's get on to Downballot Watch here. First, we got Gavin with a 30-minute ad telling you to vote no on Proposition 30. 30-second ad. Sorry.
I hope it's 30 seconds. Jesus.
I need to warn you about Proposition 30, one company's cynical scheme to grab a huge taxpayer-funded subsidy. Don't be fooled. Prop 30 is being advertised as a climate initiative, but in reality, it was devised by a single corporation to funnel state income taxes to benefit their company. Put simply, Prop 30 is a Trojan horse that puts corporate welfare above the fiscal welfare of our entire state. Vote no on Prop 30.
So the more I look into Prop 30, the more there's no one to root for.
Yeah, it's one of those. It almost belongs under winners and losers, but it is down ballot. So I figured we'd throw it down here. We'll probably get to covering it sooner or later. But yeah, Gavin, as we talked about last week, Gavin came in here on the side of the California Republican Party, the Taxpayers Association, but also the California Teachers Association. So there's that. And then on the opposite side of labor interests and environmental interests, honestly, who have teamed up with Lyft in this case to put forward a measure that pretty much incentivizes people to get electric cars And wouldn't you know it, Lyft and DoorDash, Lyft and Uber and the other ride-sharing companies have all been tasked with, by the state, with a mandated goal of, I think, something like 90% of their miles have to be logged in electric vehicles, right, by their drivers. So it definitely benefits them in the long term for incentivize electric vehicle purchases and usage, even if those folks aren't Lyft drivers. And they're spending a lot of money to get it done. The interesting thing is that Lyft is doing this pretty much on their own. Uber is not funding this measure. DoorDash, the other, companies that employ ride-sharing drivers are not jumping on board. Lyft really did this on their own and built a coalition that really could pass it. Although Gavin's crew has come in and spent a lot of money on this ad that I've already seen on TV, so it might make an impact. We shall see. But the yes folks are going to rally, I'm sure, and throw some labor groups will not sit idly by. And it's a lot of building trades groups because they're the ones that are actually going to build all these electric vehicle stations and service the electric vehicles.
So Lyft tries to position themselves as a more environmentally friendly, less horrible company than Uber. So they're probably trying to leverage their reputation as much as maybe they've been able to foster that reputation here to say, well, look, we're also in favor of this environmental thing. I think that's what they're doing. If I was less cynical, I would be like, well, maybe this is a way in which everyone wins because the people who drive for Lyft get a little bit of a break on their electric car. And, we get more maybe gas cars off the road. And then I'm like, but no, I'm a cynic. I don't believe any of that. I don't believe that's likely. In fact, I believe it's probably not even possible. So,
well, I firmly believe that they could create an incentive, right? A program like that, a rebate program for people to buy electric cars. I don't know if it's going to spur them to get the electric car, but I'm confident that they can create this program. And then if it did spur, and also building infrastructure, and if it did spur more electric vehicle consumption, then great, right? But you're right. There's no guarantee that that's going to translate. But at the end of the day, it is kind of a cynical approach by Lyft to go that route. So I see it from both ways, which is again probably why I should be under winners and losers. Because to me, if I can get that result, I will take that, given that it's not necessarily directly impacting Lyft's bottom line, right? Like it's helping them achieve goals that have been mandated by the state, but it's really not like lining their investors' pockets necessarily, and they're spending a good amount of money to get it passed. So I don't know. Like I have to believe that if they're spending that much money, it's got to help them in a tangible way, right? But at the end of the day, it looks more like it is kind of a, not just them winning with their cute little pink logo with the curved letters. That's the softer version of ride sharing, right? Uber's got the hard black lettering, Uber, very modern or futuristic. Lyft is very 70s and bubbly. So yeah, they're trying to cultivate a different kind of image for sure.
All right, well, on to another story that could be good, but I'm just going to guess that it's probably quite bad based on where it is and just the sort of general chatter around UBI over the last couple of years. It looks like Mountain View is rolling out a pilot UBI program of some sort. We're going to let the news tell us a little bit about it.
And some families in the South Bay struggling to make it in the Bay may soon get a huge financial boost. Leaders in Mountain View are launching a monthly basic income program.
Yeah, and like other programs there in cities around, it would offer money with no strings attached. Today at the Bay's Ginger Katahiro-Saab, live for us in Mountain View this morning. Okay, so Ginger, there are some questions here I'm sure a lot of people are asking about. For who are we talking about, and just how much money are we talking about here?
Those are the big questions. Good morning to you, Marcus and Chris. 166 people will be chosen from here in Mountain View to receive $500 a month as part of this pilot program for the basic income pilot program here in Mountain View. Now, it kicks off later today at 1:30 this afternoon over at Civic Center here in downtown Mountain View. Mayor Lucas Ramirez will be there. State Senator Josh Becker will be there to launch this pilot program.
5,000 Mountain Viewans will race to see see who is the top 100.
In Mountain View, for one, you must qualify under the extremely low income bracket, which means you make under 30% of the area's median income. And you are also eligible if you have a child under 18 years old or if you are pregnant. Let's go back to that median income requirement. You can see how that breaks down depending on your household size. That's on your screen right now. For example, a household of 3, you would need to make less than $45,500 a year to qualify. For a household of 4, it would be under $50,550. The selection process is completely randomized. It will be done by researchers and not led by the city. If you are chosen, you will receive $500 for 2 years. That's the entire duration of the pilot program. You are not tied to any conditions when choosing how to spend this money. It's called unrestricted financial assistance, and it's really meant to help the most vulnerable in the community, especially those who were impacted by COVID-19. This pilot program isn't the first of its kind, as you mentioned. Other programs have been launched in Stockton as well as in Oakland. It launches today here in Mountain View. Now, the window to apply is not too long. It starts at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, September 16th, and you can apply up until midnight, September 25th. You can go to mountainview.org/elevatemv to find out more and to also visit some other virtual support centers where you can apply throughout the city. Marcus and Chris?
Yeah, this is a great opportunity because every little bit helps, especially right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you don't make a lot of money. I mean, it makes a big difference.
So this isn't UBI.
Thank you, Ginger.
Thanks.
This is just a supplement to people's already existing programs, like welfare programs. This is not UBI. It's not universal.
Well, it's not universal in that it's not every one of us getting it right. There are qualifications, right? As soon as you have qualifications, then it's not universal. You are correct.
It's still not universal.
It is targeted financial relief, basically. But yeah, it is what it is. I was actually hoping it might be some sort of like Thunderdome kind of situation, which I think Republicans and conservatives would get on board with if you had to, or Squid Game, right? Or Hunger Games, if you had to like actually fight to be in the top 100, right? Like, so all Mountain Viewans are eligible, and then whoever the top 125 are who are left standing after some sort of bloodbath, right? In the public square.
That's pretty funny.
They get the UBI.
Well, I mean, that's still means tested too. It's just tested on by your means to fight, right? So
exactly, or your cunning. Who knows? So there could be some rules that allow for folks who are not necessarily physical type folks, but definitely have the big brain.
Right. Maybe they could have a battle bot or something.
There you go. Or teams. You know, so there's some sort of every team has a different piece, right? Like Voltron.
So up next, I thought we were never going to hear anything ever again on this story, but apparently we have a follow-up on, it was a city councilman, I forget who from where? But
Millbrae?
A Millbrae city council person, they had a rock thrown on them thrown out at them on the beach. Apparently, persons of interest are in custody.
Don't throw shit at councilmen.
On a story we brought you in June when a Millbrae councilman was the victim of an attack. KTV's Christian Cafton tells us SFPD says they detained a juvenile in connection with the attack, and they caught him because of a very specific act of vandalism.
The incident was shocking.
What did he tag? I threw a rock at the Millbrae City Council, like on something or on video. What the fuck?
A chunk of concrete at Millbrae City Councilman Anders Fung 3 months ago. That chunk of concrete sending the councilman to the hospital with a 2-inch gash on his head and a neck injury in June. Now there's word of a significant development in the search for the suspects.
It is my understanding that 2 persons of interest is now in custody. And then they are trying to, identify these individuals and see if there's any connections to this case.
United States Park Police are heading the investigation and issued this bulletin following the attack with the photos that Fung's family snapped of the suspects as they walked away from the attack. The bulletin saying the suspects were spotted tagging a location above Fung when the concrete block was thrown down at him. Then, early this morning, San Francisco police say they spotted a tagger who had scrawled out the same graffiti as the attackers and arrested an adult male and a juvenile on felony graffiti charges. The juvenile may be connected with the attack on Fung.
The San Francisco Police Department has maintained a list of all these suspects and persons of interest who they've been tracking in terms of their graffiti units. And that's the fruit of their collaboration in this case.
U.S. Park Police say their detectives are following up on the new information provided by San Francisco Police, and that the new developments highlight the importance of the close working relationship between the law enforcement agencies. For his part, Councilman Fung says he has recovered from the attack, but is dedicated to seeing that similar attacks don't happen to others.
And I do believe that it is incumbent upon the elected officials, right, and the policymakers to ensure that public safety is on the top of our agenda. Ensuring people's safety is our number one priority.
While this has been a significant development in this case, U.S. Park Police stress that this is still an open investigation and say they do not have anyone under arrest officially for that assault. They're still asking anyone who has any information about that incident to come forward with what they know. In San Francisco, Christian Kaftan, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
I'm surprised we got any follow-up on that at all, to be perfectly honest. I thought we'd never hear about it.
Right? Well, the determined Millbrae police, coming through. Well, good on them. Good on Councilmember Fung. I did like him doing that interview from his real estate brokerage conference room or something like that. So great branding, good product placement. Very, very well done. And speaking of product placement, you really can't go wrong when an international superstar musician gives you drops you some branding and some product placement. With 80 of their friends while they're on world tour in your neck of the woods.
A Puerto Rican restaurant in Santa Fe was surprised when famed rapper Bad Bunny showed up for dinner along with his entire entourage. KTVU's Henry Lee shows us how Bad Bunny is turning out to be good for business.
Thank you so much. The phone call to Soul Food, the Puerto Rican restaurant in downtown San Rafael, came late Monday afternoon.
They're like, we have 80 hungry Puerto Ricans. Are you guys able to accommodate us?
Restaurant staff quickly set up the dining room. A half hour later,
and then they show up in black SUVs. They're parking and everything. Once they get in there and they see Bad Bunny walking, it just goes crazy. Security gets in there. They don't let anybody in.
Bad Bunny, the famous Puerto Rican rapper and singer, along with his entourage of 80 staffers, crew, and backup dancers, were in the house.
Bad Bunny's walking around like he owns the place.
The singer ordered mofongo, mashed plantains with olive oil and sautéed shrimp.
Bad Bunny was actually serving some plates for them. He was helping the kitchen out. He was in the kitchen talking to the staff.
This is a picture showing Bad Bunny posing with the dishwasher. That Bad Bunny chose Soul Food for his Puerto Rican fix certainly made for some good, PR. Bad Bunny, seen here at a previous concert, performed at the Coliseum in Oakland Wednesday night.
He makes really good music. Yeah, no, we love him.
The feeling seems mutual.
Bad Bunny's one of the most famous Puerto Ricans around, so if he's here and he comes to Marin and he comes to our Puerto Rican place, that just, it shows that, we're well known.
Customers we spoke to agree.
I think it's really exciting to support, local Puerto Rican cuisine, and it's really authentic, and I think it's so cool that Bad Bunny, being someone from Puerto Rico, thought it was good enough to come here.
Don't forget to follow us on social media.
Yeah, I know they had to follow. Becky likes the good restaurant.
Ethically correct, so I can imagine how somebody of his ethnicity would want to come here and bring his entourage. I hope he treated.
Ethnicity?
Certainly a treat for everyone involved. The restaurant says it has seen an uptick in business. The manager tells me he actually ordered tickets to see Bad Bunny months ago. Little did he know that the artist would come hopping to his restaurant. In San Rafael, Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
He's like, can I say he hopped into the restaurant? And they're like, yes, dude, you can say he hopped into the restaurant. Like, that's your one for the month, all right, dude. You get one quip every month around here. It's part of your benefits package.
He didn't turn tail and run.
They picked Becky. They literally picked this lady to they picked this lady to interview.
Don't forget to follow us on social media for beautiful food and inspiration.
And then they just picked
White
some
validator,
some old dude who, come on. Whatever.
Yeah, eccentricity. What is he talking about?
He meant well. Leave him alone.
I know. It's just fun. I love how old people say things. It's fun.
I'm just really impressed that they let him say that Bad Bunny hopped into the restaurant.
Maybe the reporter didn't even get the joke and just let it go.
I'm telling you, he begged at the staff meeting. He begged at the daily rundown.
They don't even do it like that anymore. Local news, like that's the reason why it's just so swaggy these days. Is it always has been, but it's the reporter is the camera person is the editor, right? Like they put together a story on their own in their car, and then they send it. That's why you see so many interviews from the car, and then they send it into the team, and they barely ever look at it. I don't think they don't even know what they're introducing half the time. The anchors, it's pretty sad.
Well, we got another thing, and then we're going to get
the
fuck out of here. Well, not really. We're going to keep going, but we're going to get out of here for you podcast listeners. So what do we have for and another thing, Councilman?
Well, this is, as usual, we try to find a feel-good story. And I think I'll let the story speak for itself, but there's a piano that popped up in a garden, in a park in San Francisco pre-COVID, and it looks like it's back. And it really helped soothe the community. So we're going to learn more about the magic piano, the flower piano.
New at 10, San Francisco's botanical gardens are once again transformed into an al fresco concert hall. And everyone is invited to play and listen. KTVU's Jana Katsuyama tells us flower piano is back.
It's Chopin, like you've probably never heard before, beneath a giant native tree from New Zealand. Beautiful notes soaring from a piano nestled under the branches.
The setting can't be beat. As a stage, this wonderful tree with all the hanging plants, it's just so beautiful.
The beauty of the San Francisco Botanical Gardens usually isn't measured in notes, but this is Flower Piano Weekend, when flowers and plants mix with music and pianos.
There are 12 pianos throughout our 55 acres, and they're everywhere from the Great Meadow to the Redwood Grove.
Meandering along the garden paths, melodies float from the ferns and forests.
We also have lots of open play time, so anyone who comes in can find a piano, sit down and play, and sometimes those are just the most amazing experiences.
The joy of making and listening to music in the open air brought people to their feet.
The unconventional thing of seeing an instrument that should be in someone's living room and it's out here in a beautiful garden creates kind of a sense of wonder.
The event was co-founded by Dean Mermel and Mauro Fortissimo of Sunset Piano, a musical wonderland where the show goes on, rain or shine. Tents are on hand in case weather turns wet.
But it'd be like in the early days, which is a bit more intimate, just people gathering around the piano.
I think it's a great opportunity, especially for little kids.
And it's proof that when you plant a seed in the earth or in someone's musical soul, beauty blossoms in glorious and very unique ways. In San Francisco, Jana Katsuyama, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Very nice. Well, the 12 pianos will be on display at the San Francisco Botanical Gardens through Tuesday.
Then no more piano for you.
Right. Well, that's just a shame. I guess the weather's changing, so we'll go out and play. Play something. Be creative. Make music. Sing out loud. Sing out strong. You know how it goes. And have a beautiful week, everyone. That's the message from that story, I think.
I think so, too. Everybody, thanks for listening to Downballot. The show's live every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. Twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. If you listened to this podcast until the end, you're a real one, but you should check out the live show. Patreon.com/Echoplex or eplex.store to support us in various ways. Councilman, thank you for joining me again this week.
Thank you, as always, Producer Dave. Keep your pants on if you can.
Everybody listening live, stay tuned for Local Love. We'll be back in like 15 minutes or something. Rock some local jams while we're gone.
Peace out.
to get the party started. Pick up my phone just to check and see who's calling. Dress up real nice for the ladies at the bar, and I'm driving in my car just to get to where they are. Here at the local scene is where I plant my feet. It's where I smoke my cigarette and I hold my drink. I look at all my friends, they're all blazing green. Here at the front of the stage waiting for MTV. Where are those guys who's standing next to me with a pipe in his hand ready to blaze for me? About 5 minutes later we're all singing Queen. Now get the fuck up on stage, man, rock the scene, yeah. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. I turn and head back to the bar for a refill, man, because you know where we are. We're headed out to the car to smoke another one and another one. Now just when the magic starts kicking in, I hear relapse playing, you know it's time to head in. Alright everybody, now it's time to grab a new drink. Spark it if you got it and then pass it to me, yeah. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. Last up on the bill for the show tonight is Down and Dirty at 5, so we're headed outside to spark up another joint. Now who's got my lighter? Stoner E, of course, shouldn't you be inside? I'm all up in this bitch, being who I gotta be. I'm fucked up like the US economy. The truth is that I don't think logically. Stoner E take you on a psychedelic odyssey. Now inside motherfuckers is rocking me, and outside shit we smoke a lot of broccoli. Rocky the roller, yo, that sexy girl be jocking me. Ain't too drunk to fuck, but I'll probably do it sloppily. We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy the band, enjoy the band. We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Molly say that he like jamming, and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Well, Bob Marley said that he like jamming, and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yeah, we do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Yeah. We do what we want, and what we want to do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. We do what we want to do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just what we want and enjoy the band. So sit back, just sit back and enjoy the band. We just what we want and enjoy what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band.
Can't get enough Echoplex and want to keep the conversation going with the hosts and community when we're not live? Then join our Discord server at discord.me/Echoplex. We have text channels, voice channels, meme repositories, and a whole section of screenshots that we don't even remember where they came from. Come join the Now Space on Discord at discord.me/Echoplex.